We need to look at a disturbing metric in enterprise technology. Right now, 73% of complex corporate AI projects end in failure. The cause of this high failure rate comes down to a conceptual misunderstanding. Professionals are taking tools capable of deep analytical reasoning and treating them exactly like simple search engines. This creates what researchers call the first response trap. In a study of over 120 executives, 78% admitted to using an AI's initial output without any structured validation. That initial output is a statistical hypothesis, a machine's best first guess based on probabilities. It is a draft that requires refinement, not a finished solution. Using a basic one-sentence instruction for a strategic task is the equivalent of building a skyscraper on a sticky note. The lack of structural boundaries makes a generic, high-risk result a mathematical certainty. To fix this, we have to change the input. The Mentinno 7-block model functions as an architectural blueprint, translating an ambiguous human request into a precise execution contract. The structure begins by defining the AI's role, the exact task, the specific context, the required documentation, the format requirements, and the final success criteria. But the reliability of the output depends on Block 6, the MEC restrictions, meaning mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. A model like GPT-5 operates within a field of approximately 1 trillion possible solutions. Without constraints, the AI navigates this chaotic space to find a response. When you apply 7 MEC boundaries, you collapse that trillion-point field to just 2 million. By narrowing the valid solution space by a factor of 500,000, you mathematically remove the areas where hallucinations typically occur. In this framework, stating exactly what the system must not do is a more powerful tool for accuracy than simply describing what it should do. Building the blueprint is only half the process. The model requires an auditing phase that happens both before and after the AI generates the work. First is the pre-critique. You instruct the AI to analyze the blueprint you just wrote to identify contradictions and information gaps before any actual drafting begins. Once the draft is generated, you run a post-critique. You deploy secondary AI agents to act as skeptical personas, like an auditor, to stress test the document against specific business requirements. These dual critique loops shift the human role. Instead of executing repetitive tasks, the professional becomes a cognitive director, validating and refining machine logic. This methodology allows organizations to move beyond simple automation, like drafting emails, to redesigning entire operational models, such as customer experience or supply chain logic. We saw this applied at Petro Andes. They used the 7-block model to manage complex maintenance planning, a workflow where a single error can lead to $1 million facility shutdown. The shift was measurable. Human processing time dropped from 80 hours to under 5, a 94% reduction, while the project generated a 218% return on investment in its first quarter. By documenting this prompt structure, the team created a replicable framework that can be reused to manage maintenance alerts for the following years. Business value isn't generated by the speed of text generation. It comes from the rigorous design of the instructions that guide it. The technical landscape is shifting from prompt engineering, instructions for a single session, to context engineering, the architecture of information that persists over time. This shift relies on layer 0, the institutional brain. This is the foundational layer that sits beneath the 7-block execution model. This is a persistent, versionable architecture of verified corporate knowledge. It remains active across every working session, ensuring the AI operates on your company's real data rather than general internet averages. Because this knowledge lives in a persistent layer, every interaction becomes more precise over time, accumulating institutional expertise that remains accessible regardless of which AI platform you use. Instead of starting from 0 in every chat window, the objective is to build these stable knowledge architectures that any team member can deploy. The 7-block model provides the structure for an interaction, but the institutional brain ensures that interaction is built on the reality of your organization.